Hey YouTube, thanks for stopping in and checking out the channel again. I know it's been a while since I've put any videos up other than racing, but we're back out here in the garage again tonight, and we got the good old 450 out again. Like I said, been doing some racing with it, and I've been pretty fortunate. I haven't had to do too much work to it. So that's why I haven't had too many videos out here for you guys. Like I said, just been racing and changing oil, and I think I put a set of tires on it since last time, but nothing major. But I have developed a little bit of a coolant leak from the water pump. Keeps coming out of the little overflow there. But like I said, it seems to only come out on hard acceleration, or not really hard acceleration, but whenever I'm revving it really high. Mainly whenever it's really hot and I'm racing hard. So like I said, tonight I'll probably go ahead and tear into it a little bit. I went ahead and ordered some of the stuff. Like I said, I got new bearings, some seals and stuff, and I didn't know if I would need a shaft or not, but I just went ahead and ordered one, mainly because I've had this bike since 2008, and I've never once had to rebuild the water pump in it, and it's kind of been giving me a little bit of leak here and there for quite a while. So I figured I'd better get the shaft just in case there was any kind of scoring or damage to the shaft. So, but yeah, that's enough rambling. We'll go ahead and tear into this thing tonight. Alright guys, so one of the first things you're going to want to do is drain your coolant. And if you pull this bottom bolt out of your water pump housing cover, it'll drain most of the coolant out. So we're going to go ahead and start there. Like I said, I normally leave the radiator cap on because it stops the coolant from rushing out as fast. So as you see here, I'll pull that out and there's hardly any coolant that comes out. And then, like I said, then I'll reach up and I just kind of slowly open the radiator cap. That way it don't all come shooting out at once, because it will spray pretty far. Ooh, there we go. So like I said, we'll drain the coolant out, and then I'll also end up draining the oil out of the clutch side anyhow, because I'm going to pull that whole clutch cover off. So, but yeah, we'll go ahead and let this drain for a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and also pull this brake lever off, because like I said, I'm going to have to pull this cover off so I can change that water pump shaft. And you can get this cover off without taking the brake lever off, but it's a pain in the butt. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull the brake lever, pull the kicker, and then we'll go ahead and pull these hoses off too. So. Don't mind the neighbor with a turbo Chevelle. So normally it does big smoky burnouts up through there. So, but anyhow, back to work. Alright, I went ahead, like I said, I got the brake lever pulled off, got the kicker pulled off, pulled the hoses off, and like I said, normally I would drain the oil out of this clutch side, but I got a big enough pan I can just catch it. I'm not going to pull the drain plug. I'm going to let it go ahead and leak down in there. But I'm going to go ahead and pull the this cover off, and we'll go from there. Alright, we got all the bolts out. Pop this cover off now. Alright, so we got the cover off now, and I think I'm going to have to do a little trimming on this gusset right there, because it was a real big pain in the butt to get out past there. But as you can see, we got this off, and like I said, right here's your water pump shaft, bearing and stuff. And like I said, I'll throw this in the parts washer, we'll clean it up a little bit, and then I'll throw it on the bench, and we'll go ahead and start dissecting it. Alright guys, so the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and pull these bolts out, which like I said, I already broke them loose over there before I took the case off the bike. Just makes life a little bit easier. But yeah, we'll go ahead and pull this off and get the cover off. There's that. So yeah, all you got is your impeller under that cover. I think you have to hold the shaft and break that loose, which is probably a 10. But yeah, as you can see, those bearings in that water pump are pretty well shot. So all I did was I put this screwdriver back in this little slot just to stop that from spinning, and then I broke that loose. So there's, oops, you got a little washer under there, and then this shaft should slide out the back. See, the shaft's got a little bit of grooves and stuff wore in it, so probably a good thing that I got a new shaft. So I will pull this thing out. Yeah, that's part of that seal. It's definitely junk. There we go. Finally got it. Thing's in there pretty good. Okay. Now we have to try and tap that bearing out the other side. There we go. Bearing come right out. Now I need to pay attention to the way that seal is in there. So the lip is open on this side. So we need to make sure we put that back in there the same way. We might be able to just go ahead and pull it out from over here with the screwdriver. Let's see here. Yeah. So there we go. Alright, so yep, this side goes towards the engine, and then the side with the numbers and stuff will go towards the outside of the engine. We'll go ahead and clean all this stuff up before we put the new ones in there. Alright, we got her all cleaned up. There we go. So what we're going to do first is throw in this new seal. Like I say, make sure you put it in there the same way you took her out. And then I normally find a socket that's pretty close to the same size, and I use that to finish shoving her back in. Alright, so it looks like this one is about a 16 millimeter. Seemed to be what I had that fits it pretty good. There we go. Got her down in there. Perfect. Okay, then next we're going to put in the new bearing on this side. Do the same thing, find a socket that fits. You want to make sure it fits on the outside edge. So this one's a 19 that fits it. You want to make sure you tap it evenly down in there. There we go. Alright. So it looks like this one is a 1-inch socket. Now you want to make sure the socket that you use, the inside of it does not hit the inside of that. So like I said, this was a 1-inch and it fit the outside edge and didn't touch the inside. So we were good on that one. Alright, so next there's this other rubber seal and washer and stuff that on the back of the impeller. So you got to pull that off. We'll clean that up. You put the seal in there, and the copper washer goes in there. Alright, so that seal you can just pretty much push in with your fingers. Not a big deal. And then, like I said, now we need the new shaft. Alright, let's open it up here. We got the new shaft. We will shove that through. Put a little bit of oil on there so it slides through a little easier first. Alright, there we go. Shove that in there. Okay. Now, don't forget the little copper washer. Alright, copper washer goes on there. And then we'll put this back in there. And then we'll do the same thing to tighten it up. We'll put the screwdriver back here in the back. There we go. Whoa. And we'll go ahead and tighten it down. Perfect. Alright. Yeehaw. So now we need to get new O-ring and put the cover back on. And we should be done with rebuilding the water pump. But it's getting pretty late tonight, so I think I'll head back in and come back out and finish it up tomorrow. So, all right, guys, it's the next night. I'm back out here at it again. Like I said, left off, we rebuilt everything inside of here, and I didn't show you guys, but basically I just put new O-ring around the end of this housing and put those 2 bolts in there. Like I said, it's pretty easy there. And then I went ahead and off camera cleaned up the gasket area and everything. I got new gaskets for the cover and everything to put on. But also, like I said, I've got this bare gusset kit on my bike, and you guys probably saw me trying to take it off. I struggled pretty good to get it out of there. Ended up pulling my Kickstarter shaft out with it. So just to make it a little bit easier, I took a Sawzall and I just notched this little piece of my gusset out. Like I said, I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference, but it sure is going to make it a lot easier to put that cover back on. So like I said, I've had it off a bunch, but every time I must have had the engine out, because like I said, that gusset kit's been on there for probably 3 or 4 years, and I know I've had the engine apart a few times since then, but like I said, every time I've pulled that cover off, I must have had the engine out of the chassis. So like I said, we got all the gasket area and stuff cleaned up, and now it's just a matter of throwing that cover back on. So we'll go ahead and get that in there. Alright guys, so as you saw in the time lapse there, I put this cover all back together. And like I said, make sure you grease up this brake lever bolt. You don't want that to freeze up on you. One other thing that I forgot to mention is the back of that water pump shaft. It's got a slot in it, and it lines up with a slot on the counterbalance shaft. And just to make things easier for putting it back together, I always try and put that counterbalance shaft at 12 and 6 o'clock, you know, straight up and down. That way whenever you put this in there, you put that straight up and down, and it's pretty easy to line up and make sure you got it all back together. That's just the other thing that, like I said, I forgot to mention, is make sure you end up with that thing lined up. That way your cover will go all the way back on. And like I said, the oil and everything was all drained out of it. I'm going to go ahead and change the filter, put a new filter in it, put some new oil in there, and top off the coolant. So alright guys, so as you watched, we got the oil changed, filled up all the fluids, I got coolant full. So like I said, about the only thing left to do now is to go ahead and start it, make sure we don't have any leaks, and like I said, just make sure everything's good from there. So we'll go ahead and fire this thing up and see how we did. So I think we're about ready to go racing again here next weekend. About the only thing I got left to do is probably clean the air filter and give the bike a good bath. So once again, guys, thanks for stopping in and checking out the channel here. Appreciate everybody, and like I said, sorry it's been taking so long to get some content back out there to you guys, but like I said, I appreciate everybody watching. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. Like I said, we'll catch you in the next one.